Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Welcome to Edu and Migration Teens Migration Show tonight. So after 2 weeks waiting time, so it's now back to my migration show again. For those who are the first time in our migration show, my name is Teen and I'm the General Manager and Registered Migration Agent from Edu and Migration. So welcome all of you for tonight's migration show. Before I start, so I would like to give all of you a little bit introduction about our company, Soul Edu and Soul Migration. So this year will be our 20th anniversary in the industry. So we are doing assisting all international students to study and migrate in Australia. So before we talk about tonight's topic, VETASSESS skill assessment, I would like to give you some updates from last week for what's happening in Australia for the migration updates and news updates. So the first one, very breaking news, is for those eligible 485 visa holder will be contacted by the Department of Home Affairs on 18th of February this year, which will be a month later, less than a month. So if you are the current 485 visa holder whose 485 visa will expire before 30th of September 2022, or you were the previous 485 visa holder and your 485 visa already expired, you will be eligible to get an automatic extension to 30th of September this year and give you enough time to come back to Australia to apply for the replacement visa. However, there will be some conditions. First one, you must have been in offshore, not in Australia, for any time between 1st of February 2020 to 14th of December 2021. Even for a 1 day, it's okay. So this is the first condition. Second condition, if you are holding 485 visa or you previously held 485 visa, you can't have been granted any substantive visa after your 485 visa. So this is very important. So let's say if your previous 485 visa already expired and you have applied for another substantive visa and has been granted, then you won't enjoy these benefits for the 485 visa extension and later on for the replacement visa application. So this is the first breaking news for this week. Secondly, for student visa holders, now can work unlimitedly in Australia. But the Department of Home Affairs and the federal government will do some reviews in April whether they will continue this arrangement. So for these updates is due to the staff shortage nowadays in Australia, no matter in what industries. So all industries have been suffering for the staff shortage. So this is very breaking news for student visa holders in Australia. Lastly, for eligible returning student visa holders or working holiday visa holders, they can enjoy a refund for their visa application fees if they return Australia within this specified time frame. So for student visa holders, it will be within 8 weeks. For working holiday visa holder, it will be within 12 weeks. So for student visa application fees, it is 630 Australian dollars. For working holiday visa application fees, it will be 495. However, the Department of Home Affairs has not yet implemented the refund system return visa fee return portal on their website yet, but I believe they will implement the website in the following weeks. Okay, so this is the updates for last week from 19th of January to 26th of January. So during our migration show tonight, if you have any question, just feel free to type in our YouTube chat box, then I can answer your questions during our Q&A section. All right, so I can see some questions on the chat box, but I will answer the questions later during the Q&A section. All right, so now I'm moving to our topic tonight, which is about VETASSESS. what is VETASSESS and what is the skill assessments, and which popular occupations are under assessment by VETASSESS. And I will share some case studies with you and give you some brief ideas about what type of documents and what's the requirements for VETASSESS for the skill assessment. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, what is skill assessment? So, in summary, it is the compulsory requirements for most skill-related visas, including Visa Subclass 189, 190 state nomination, 491 regional temporary state nomination visa, 494 regional employer sponsorship visas, and 186 direct entry. So there are several different streams under 186 visa subclass, but it is only compulsory for direct entry and some specify occupations. So this is for skill visa, and the other one is 485 graduate work stream. So these are the visa types which skill assessment is a compulsory requirement for you to satisfy. So skill assessment, it is like one so for Department of Home Affairs, for each nominated occupation, they have specified one specific skill assessment authority to determine whether your skills is suitable for the nominated occupation. So this is what is skill assessment, okay? The next one is for VETASSESS, tonight's topic. So VETASSESS is Australia's largest skill assessment provider, and they assess more than 28 trade qualification, trade professionals, and more than 360 professional occupations in Australia. So it is the largest one to assess to assist the Department of Home Affairs for the skill assessment check. So this is about VETASSESS, and VET stands for Vocational Education and Training. So this is the brief introduction about what is VETASSESS. And now I would like to give you some popular occupations that are under assessment by VETASSESS. So it includes, but are not limited, as I mentioned, there will be more than 388 occupations that are under assessment by VETASSESS, but I'm showing you some popular occupations that we came across during our daily counseling, including marketing specialist, internal auditor, event organizer, counselors NEC. NEC, it means no else classified. So this is NEC. Scientists. So I put scientists because a lot of biochemists or biotechnologists, life scientists, these are all under VETASSESS assessment, okay? And health promotion officer, nutritionist, university lecturer, university tutor, valuer, advertising specialist, film and video editor, financial investments advisor, graphic designer, restaurant manager, management consultant, web designer, and hotel or motel manager. So these are the summary of the popular occupations that we came across during our day-to-day counseling. But of course, this is just part of the 388 occupations that are under VETASSESS skill assessment, okay? So this is for the popular occupations. And now I will give you more ideas about the skill assessment procedure, about the application fees, the time frame for their processing, and different groups under VETASSESS management. So first of all is there will be 6 different groups under VETASSESS skill assessment for the professional occupations, the 360 occupations. So they categorize into 6 different groups with different requirements for qualification and employment. So this is the first requirement. Second one is for fees that probably you will be interested. For the full skill assessment fees, it is 1,090.7 including GST. For offshore applicant, which means your application location is not in Australia, then we can deduct the GST. This is for the full skill assessment fees, because for skill assessment, there will be two different types. One is what we call full skill assessment for those skill related visas, including 189, 190, 491, 494, and 186 direct entry. But there will be another skill assessment type, which is called 485 skill assessment, which is specifically for 485 visa application under the graduate work stream. So there were two different skill assessment type. Not every skill assessment authority will categorize into two different parts, but VETASSESS, they have full skill assessment services as well as 485 skill assessment services. So the other one is for priority processing fees. If you are quite urgent to get your results to get the skill assessment completed, then you can pay additional 660 to get your skill assessment outcome faster. And for 485 visa skill assessment, it will charge 415.8 Australian dollars, and there will be no requirement for English level. So this is for English requirements. They just assess your qualification and employments. Okay. The last one is for processing time. So due to COVID-19, so the processing time has been delayed. So normally your application will be finalized within 12 weeks. But if you have paid the additional processing fee for the priority processing, then it will be finalized within 10 business days. So it depends on how soon you would like to get your outcome. Then you can choose to pay the priority processing fees or not. Okay. So this is for the brief ideas for the general requirements and general information for VETASSESS skills assessment. Okay. Now, I would like to talk more about each group and its requirements. So this is for Group A. Group A occupations. So the skill assessment criteria will be, of course, qualification plus employment. And they only have one option to satisfy the requirement, which is you have at least a bachelor equivalent to Australian standards in your highly related to your nominated occupation, plus 1 year highly related employments in the last 5 years. So this is for Group A occupations, and we can have a look at some popular occupations in Group A, including actuary, biotechnologist, counselors, NEC, dental hygienist, economist, internal auditor, scientist. So I also quoted scientists because it included several different types of scientists. If you are not sure whether your nominated occupation is in which group, you can feel free to type in the checkbox. Then I can help you, assist you to go through which group your occupation will be in. Okay. University lecturer, university tutor, and valuer. So this is the common requirements under Group A. However, there will be some occupations that they require additional documents and additional requirements for your nominated occupation. We don't have much time to go through all 360 occupations. It is not realistic, but if you have any specific occupation would like me to check, then I can check with you during our Q&A section. Okay. So this is for Group A occupations. We can see there will be only one pathway to satisfy the skill assessment requirements, which will be at least a bachelor degree in highly relevant field of studies and 1 year highly relevant skill employment in the last 5 years. So this is for Group A. Okay. Now we will move to Group B. Group B's requirements is a bit easier, I would say, for the qualification requirements. So the first pathway will be the same as Group A occupation, which is at least a bachelor degree in a highly relevant field of studies and 1 year highly relevant skill employment in the last 5 years. So this is for pathway one. However, they do have another two pathways. The second pathway is for those who has a bachelor degree but not in the related fields. Let's say marketing specialist is within group B, but some of the clients they have a bachelor of engineering. Bachelor of engineering, of course, it is not a highly related qualification to marketing specialist. So if you are indeed in similar situation, then you can consider for pathway 2 or 3. So for pathway 2, you have a bachelor degree but not in related studies, but you also have another lower level qualification which is at a diploma level in the specific and relevant field of studies. Let's say for the example I just raised, for Bachelor of Engineering plus a diploma in marketing, then it can satisfy the qualification requirement for pathway 2. And then you will need to have at least 2 years of post-qualification highly related skill employment. So for pathway 1, you just need 1 year, but for pathway 2, you will need 2 years, which is a non-related bachelor plus a related at least diploma qualification plus 2 years of related, highly related working experience for pathway 2. And then they also have a pathway 3. Pathway 3 for those who has only a bachelor degree, not in a related field of studies, but have at least 3 years studies, 3 years skill employment, 3 years skill related employment in the last 5 years, then it can also satisfy VETASSESS requirements. So this is for pathway 3. So under group B, they have 1, 2, 3. And later on, when we touch about group C and D, you will find it's quite similar, but the qualification requirement will be lower. So some popular occupations under group B, including marketing specialist, human resources advisor, graphic designer, financial market dealers, film and video editor. So these are some of the popular occupations under group B, okay? All right. Any question, just type in the YouTube chat box, then I can answer your question during our Q&A section, all right? So now I will move to group C. So for group C, the qualification requirement is lower than group A and group B. So they only require you to, for pathway 1, very similar to group B occupations, but they have lower requirement for the qualification. They only require you to have at least a diploma level qualification in highly related field of studies and 1 year highly related skill employment. So this is for the pathway 1. For pathway 2, you have a diploma qualification, but not in the related field of studies, plus at least a certificate 4 in the related studies. And then you have 1 year post-qualification highly related employment. So remember, for group B, the pathway 2, you need to have 2 years under pathway 2, but for group C, they only require you to have 1 year. This is for second pathway under group C occupations. For pathway 3, you just have a diploma qualification, but you don't have any closely related studies. And you have 2 years of post-qualification skill employment. You can also satisfy Group C occupations requirements. So this is 3 different pathways for Group C occupations. And here we have some popular occupations, including architectural draft person, cafe or restaurant manager, civil engineering draft person, conference and event organizer, contract administrator, customer service manager, or hotel or motel manager. These are some popular occupations that are within Group C. So you will see when we move on to Group C and D, then there will be less requirement for the qualification level. Okay, so this is for Group C. And now move on to Group D. So for pathway 1, you need to at least have a certificate 4 in a highly related field of studies and 1 year post-qualification highly related skill employment. So this is quite similar for Group A, B, C. This is highly related studies plus highly related 1 year skill employment after the qualification. So this is quite standard for no matter Group A, B, or C, or D, but just the qualification requirement is different. And then when it comes to second pathway, which is you need to have at least a certificate 4 without any related studies and plus 2 years skill related employment in the last 5 years. So this is for second pathway under Group D. And for pathway 3, they require you to have at least a certificate 3 in a highly related field of studies, and then at least 3 years of working experience in the skill level in the past 5 years. So these are Group D requirements, also pathway 1, 2, and 3. And I have listed some popular occupations that are within Group D, including business broker, diving instructor, diver, flight attendant, insurance agent, property manager, real estate agent, vet nurse. So these are some popular occupations within Group D. For tonight, I won't go too much about Group E or F because they have only several occupations. So if your occupations are within Group E or F, then you can contact us via different channels. Then we can have a look at your nominated occupation and what was the requirements. All right. So these are some the summary of Group A, B, C, D occupations under assessment by VETASSESS. Now I will go to the requirements, the document checklist for VETASSESS full skill assessments. All right. So I can see some questions about the documentation on our checkbox. So now I will talk about it for the document checklist that required by VETASSESS. So first of all, you need to pay the relevant application fees to VETASSESS when you submit the skill assessment. Secondly, you need to upload your photograph. It must be within 6 months, so this is quite important. Number 3, you need to provide different types of proof evidence of your ID, such as the passport or Australian driver license, this type of documents. So this is for proof of ID. Number 4 is change of name evidence if applicable. If you haven't changed your name at all, so you don't need to worry about number 4. Number 5, you need to provide your qualification evidence, such as your graduation documentation, graduation certificate, completion letter, and official transcripts. So this is for qualification evidence. If there is any Chinese audience tonight, for Chinese qualification you obtain, that VETASSESS will require you to go through a CDGDC check if you are from China and your qualification is from China, that this is the special requirements from VETASSESS that they will require you to go through the CDGDC check for your qualification. Okay. And number 6 is for employment evidence. So I will talk more details in next slide, what type of evidence you need to provide to satisfy VETASSESS the employment evidence. Okay. Number 7 is for resume or CV, you must provide it. And last one is for some specific occupations, such as marketing specialist, they will have additional documents you need to provide to satisfy the requirements. So let's say for marketing specialist, you will be required to provide an organizational charts of your employer from your company that you are working in. to satisfy the requirements. This is the specific requirement for some occupations. All right, now let's have a look at the employment evidence. What type of document you need to provide to satisfy VETASSESS employment evidence requirements. So you will need to provide evidence such as statement of services. So this is compulsory statement of service from your either current employer or your previous employer. So they will require you to put your name, your date of birth, your job title, your job duties, your weekly working hours, and your salary. And they will also require your employer to print the letter with the company letterhead, and they need to have proper signature and the occupation, the position of the person who signed the document for you. So if you have questions regarding the statement of services, you can always feel free to contact us. Then we can share the template or the requirements with you. Second one is for payment evidence. So VETASSESS is not that strict in regards to the payment evidence. So you can select at least one of the following types to satisfy the payment evidence, including payslips. Ideally, it will be your first and last payslips for the period you work in the company. So this is for payslip. You can provide payslip. Secondly, it is for taxation records of assessments, such as in Australia, we can log into MyGov and ATO, and under the taxation parts, you can download the notice of assessment for each financial year in Australia. And it must show clearly for the company and your name on the notice of assessments. So this is important. And next one, you can also consider providing bank statements showing at least 2 salary payments. And it also requires to have your company name on your transaction, okay? And last one is employment link insurance superannuation records, such as the superannuation extract, which you can also download from MyGov, or the income statements you can also download from MyGov if you are working in Australia. For overseas employment history, then you can probably check whether your country, they have like the what we call social insurance. In some countries, they call it social insurance, or some countries, they may also have the income tax statements that you can grab it from the government, from the taxation department from in your home country. Okay, so this is the payment requirements to prove your previous employment to VETASSESS. Okay, and I also see a question from Marilyn regarding, I think I probably answered your question already. How many payments, payslips do I need to show for skill assessment for VETASSESS? If you would like to use payslips, then ideally it will be the first and the last payslip. The first and last payslip. And for the second question, the documentation for VETASSESS needs to be translated for NATI translator. Yes, if your original document is not in English, then you will need to find a certified translator by NATI to get the documentations translated, okay? So this is the question from Marilyn, okay? I hope I answered your question. Now, I would like to share some cases with all of you. The top one occupation is, of course, marketing specialist from our daily counseling. So here I have a case. The nominated occupation is marketing specialist. And the additional requirement from VETASSESS is you need to provide the organizational charts of the company to show how many people in your company and different kind of positions within the company. They don't really have a specific requirement about the company size, But no matter it is a big company or a small company, it is compulsory to provide a organizational charts for the company you work for to satisfy the VETASSESS requirements. This is the additional documentation from VETASSESS regarding marketing specialists. And here, the example I'm showing here, these candidates completed a Bachelor of Engineering qualification back in home country, and then completed a Master of Business at the University of Queensland, majoring in marketing and HR. So double major qualification, and as you can see, the the major the client has completed is highly related to the nominated occupation marketing specialist because it is for marketing major. And after graduation from UQ, the client has always been working as the marketing specialist in multiple companies since 2016. And this lucky client has received Queensland state nomination for 190 visa invitation just 2 weeks ago. And I believe this is the very small amount of applicants that has received 190 invitation under marketing specialist for this financial year in Queensland because it has been extremely challenging and competitive for the state nomination in Queensland, especially for 190 for this financial year. But this lucky client has received the 190 invitation, and congratulations to this client. And as you can see, this is the outcome letter from VETASSESS and how it looks like. So basically, as you can see from here, so for the first year of your employment, it will be used to satisfy the first year. As you can remember, for marketing specialist is assessed under Group B, and Group B, if you have a highly related qualification and 1 year working experience, you can satisfy the requirements. So this 1 year, the first 1 year, the working experience, it is to satisfy the minimum requirements of the occupation. And then moving on from this stage, then all these working experience will be able to claim points for skill migration point test. This is for this outcome letter. If you have any question regarding skill assessment under VETASSESS, just feel free to type in the chat box, then I can answer your question one by one later. Okay, and then next one I would like to talk about is to share some successful cases throughout the years from us from Seoul migration, from Seoul Asian migration. So this one is for Biotechnologist. This client has obtained a Bachelor of Engineering as well as a Master of Science in related field of studies and 1 year Australian related working experience. And then it has been a positive skill assessment under the Biotechnologist. The second one I would like to show is for materials technician. The client has completed a bachelor degree in China and had many years of working experience in both China and in Australia. So this is also another positive skill assessment outcome. The next one is for graphic designer. This client has a bachelor and master, both related to graphic designer, and has at least 1 year working experience in Australia to satisfy the requirement. So this is the first 3 successful cases I would like to share. And next one is about film and video editor, restaurant manager, and university tutor. So these are all the successful cases. I just listed 6 because time is limited. I can't go through all the successful cases that we have on our hand for all these years. So if you have specific question regarding one of your nominated occupation, or you are struggle to find your nominated occupation, just feel free to contact us, and we will have individual counseling with you, and then give you the possible nominated occupation and plan your pathway for your visa application. Okay, so this is all the content I would like to go through tonight. But of course, now is advertisement time. I would like to give you some introduction about our company, Soul Migration. And probably some of you would like to try to do the skill assessment by yourself. It is totally okay, but I just want to give you more ideas about the difference comparing to DIY and using a registered migration agent. So, as a registered migration agent, we need to do a lot of trainings and we need to complete it related the compulsory course, the degree, as well as some ongoing training each year. So we have resources to get access to different latest updates from the Department of Home Affairs and from different skill assessment authorities. So we can have the latest updates. But if you are individuals, you are not that familiar with the process, then you may lose. You may kind of behind the latest updates. You may not be able to get the latest updates. So this is the first point. Second one is as we are quite familiar with different types of visa applications as well as different skill assessment applications, that we know what type of documents the skill assessment authority or the Department of Home Affairs will need for your application. Then we can sort it out and send it to you, of course, and then we can organize your documents and provide it to the related authority. And we have more than 300 successful cases in different visa applications and skill assessment each year. So you can trust us and we can try our best and to give you the most professional advice and assist you for your journey in Australia. So this is the difference by using a registered migration agent while doing it all by yourself, okay? And in our team, in Seoul Edu and Migration, we have a large team with more than 40 staff, and our staff can speak 9 different languages, including Korean, Mandarin, Cantonese, Japanese, Vietnamese, Thai, Spanish, Portuguese, Hindi, and of course, English. And we have 5 registered migration agents in the team, and our successful rate is more than 99%. So this is our strength from Seoul Edu and Migration. And now I would like to go to Q&A section as I can see some questions from our chat box. Before I answer all the questions, just bear with me. I would like to get some water first. Okay, so now I can see a question from Asha. Hello, I'm planning for masters in civil engineering in Australia, but my age is above 30. Will it burden to get a PR after completion of the course? So there are different PR pathways. So if you are looking for skill related visas, let's say for 189 skill independent visa or 190 or 491, which are state nominations, then the first most important part is to pass the skill assessment for your nominated occupation. And in terms of civil engineer, the skill assessment authority is Engineer Australia. So they have different pathways to pass the skill assessment. I would say the easiest one is your the program you study, the Master of Engineering and Civil Engineering is fully accredited by EA, by Engineers Australia. Then after completion of your course, you will pass the skill assessment. So this is the easiest pathway. So if you are interested in studying a civil engineering master degree in Australia, just feel free to send us an email. I will show our email in the chat box. Then you can send us an email, which is hello@souledu.net. So send us an email for your background, for a resume, or for some qualification. Then we can arrange in one-to-one counseling to give you more ideas about your PR pathway as a civil engineer. Basically, for most universities in Australia, they will require to have a bachelor degree in civil engineering to get admitted into a master of engineering in civil engineering. Okay, and regarding your age, so for the skill related visas, as long as you are under age 45 years old, then you will still be eligible to apply for the skill related visas. However, you might lose some points. You might lose some points when we are calculating your migration point test. From age 25 to 32, it will be the maximum points, which will be 30 points for your age points. From 33 to 40, you will have from 33 to 37. Sorry, it should be 33 to 40. You will receive less points. So you will receive only 25 points for the migration point test, but you will still be eligible to apply for skill-related visas in Australia if you can satisfy all the requirements by the visa type. Okay, so this is for Asha's question. And Marilyn also asked for what's the major reason for getting a negative results from VETASSESS. So regarding VETASSESS, they normally, sometimes I would say they will contact the employer to check your previous working experience. So if your working experience is when they do the phone interview, it is different from your employment letter, from the statement of service, then it will reject your application. So please be mindful that you need to provide the actual information for your from your employment history, and they will kind of check with your employer regularly. And in the case when your employer provided different scenario, different explanation for your working experience, then it will be highly refusal rate. So this is one of the high refusal factor. The second one is for the skill employments. So for the skill employments, if your skill level is lower than the required level, then your VETASSESS skill assessment will be refused as well. So it depends on each occupation. I can't go through all 360 occupations, what was the requirements. But if you have concerns, you are not sure what was the required skill level, just feel free to send us an email to hello@soedu.net. Then we can answer your question one by one, and we can always arrange an individual counseling time. Okay. So Marilyn also want to know about microbiology. So there will be several different pathways, I would say, under microbiology pathway, but it also depends on your highest qualification before. If you can give me more information about your previous qualification, your background, then I can be easier to answer your question. Okay. And Arsha would like to, do you also help in getting professional civil engineering jobs in Australia? We don't assist our clients to find a job in Australia. However, for engineering graduates in Australia, you will be eligible to study a professional year program after your master degree. And then for the professional year program, it is a program to assist you to find a job in Australia in your nominated field. So you can, this is not compulsory, it is optional, but you can get additional points for your migration point test at the same time to find a good job. Probably can easier to find a job in your nominated field of studies after graduation. So this is Asha's question. Probably I can show our contact methods. So there are several options to contact us. Either Edu, our YouTube channel, our Facebook. If you are in Brisbane, we have two offices in Brisbane. One in Brisbane City, upstairs, level 2 of 226 Albert Street in Brisbane City. or level 1, 8 Zamia Street in Sunnybank area. So always feel free to contact us via one of these contact methods. Then we can arrange some counseling or online meetings to answer your questions. Okay. Okay. So we'd like to wait for a few more minutes if we have more questions. And there will be another teens migration show in 2 weeks' time, which will be 9th of February, because yesterday was Australian National Day, so it was public holiday in Australia, so we don't have the live show yesterday. But normally I will do on Wednesday nights every fortnight. It is more like 2 times a month. So the next one will be on 9th of February. And if you have any topic you would like us to talk about, just feel free to comment on our YouTube channel or just drop us an email. Let's say, RT, and I would like you to talk about this. Can you talk about it in next video? Then, of course, I can have a look and probably I can choose the topic and talk about it in my next migration show. Okay. But again, if you have any question regarding studying or getting a visa in Australia, just feel free to contact us. We have a big team here in our company, and we have both education counselors and migration agents that can give you supports to your inquiries. All right, so if there will be no more question, we will finish tonight's migration show, and then I will see you all guys in 2 weeks' time. Same channel, same time, 7 to 8 p.m. Brisbane time, 9th of February, and then we will do the premiere on our YouTube channel very shortly before the migration show next time. Okay. Thank you for all your attending tonight. I will see you in 2 weeks' time, which will be 9th of February, 7 to 8 p.m. Brisbane time in Australia, same channel. I will see you next time. See ya.